How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to be walking you through my dad's new project car. It's a very exciting project, going to take a really long time, and I just want to show it to you and give you a bit of information. In fact, I am sitting inside the project car right now, and I think one of the most interesting things about this project car is this. I'm on the right hand side of the car and there's no steering wheel. It's over there. Why is that? Let's get into the video. So if you've seen any of my previous videos, you may well know that my dad drives and built a Group B rally car in the Renault 5 Maxi Turbo, one of his favourite cars from when he was younger. And obviously he's watched rallying throughout his entire life through all the different groups, all the way through WRC and now onto the R5s and that kind of stuff. And in that period, there's one car that really sticks out to him as being one of the best rally cars of all time. And this is a big claim, but honestly, this is a good one. It's the Peugeot 206. Now in 1999, Peugeot unveiled the 206 and it ran in a few rallies on that year, but then really came into its own in the year 2000 when Marcus Gronholm won the World Drivers' Championship and Peugeot won the Constructors' Championship. In 2001, the car suffered really badly from some reliability issues, particularly under Marcus Gronholm's driving, but then in the third year of its time properly being in the sport in 2002, with Gronholm and Richard Burns, who is a household name within rallying, the two of them at the helm of the car took that car right to the top, and Gronholm won a second world title in the car. His victory in that championship was so great that it was discussed in magazines as being pretty much to the same level of Michael Schumacher's dominance in Formula 1. Gronholm really knew how to drive that 206, and that 206 really knew how to go. In that 2002 season, Gronholm won more than a third of the rallies in the year, finished on the podium in more than half of the rallies, and also finished with more than double second place's points. That's just mind-boggling stuff in the 206 by Gronholm, and really a testament to how amazing both the car and the driver were. So that happened in my memory as well. I was about 7 at the time. I went to the 2003 British rally and saw the 206, and I also fell in love with it. It wasn't as much of a love for me as the Impreza, which is probably my favourite rally car from that era, but the 206, yeah, was absolutely stunning. So taking everything I've told you about the 206 into account, as well as my dad's clear ability to build rally cars, he has decided that he wants to build a 206 WRC car. So just like the Renault 5 Maxi Turbo, alongside it in the garage, you'll see a 206 WRC, which I am praying he lets me drive at events, so that when he's driving around in the Renault, I get to drive in the 206, but he probably will just drive both of them and I'll just sit there and cry. Now, this project is going to take a really long time. It'll be like 2 years in the making. It's not something that's going to be short. It's a full-on turning of a car into a WRC car done by one man, and the odd bit of help by me, his son, who'll mostly just be around taking the odd video and updating you guys on how the project's going. It's not suddenly going to be main content on this channel or anything, but I just thought it would be great to document the process from start to finish, just so that we get to see at least some of the parts and bits that it takes to build a rally car, especially because I would like to build a rally car in the future, and who better to have as your father than my dad? And one of the reasons why it's going to take such a long time is because he didn't actually plan on starting the project right now. He was planning on starting it maybe mid next year to end of next year, but a 206 left-hand drive came up very close to where we live, going for around £400. We managed to negotiate it down to £325, I think, in the end. And so we got this car rather than having to cross the channel and pay for a ferry and petrol and all that kind of stuff to get over there and then ship a car back. We have a pre-shipped over 1.6 litre Peugeot 206 left-hand drive in the country, about 10 miles from my house. Of course he was going to buy it. The opportunity was too much to miss up, and now he has the baseline project car for this project. So less of me chatting nonsense, let's have a quick look around it. So being a left-hand drive car, it wasn't selling from the dealership, and therefore it sat and done absolutely nothing. And I'll show you a few bits of moss. In fact, here on the window you might be able to pick out some of the moss that's grown on the side of the window there. The interior of the car is mostly untouched. It's got a few bits of leaves and stuff in here, a bit of grimy stuff. To be honest, most of this dirt is probably my dad, because he always ends up making his cars quite messy. It's surprisingly spacious in this 206, it must be said. It's got a lot of space in here. Yeah, I mean, none of this is very interesting. I'm just sort of faffing at this point. I have no idea what to talk about. There's nothing really interesting in the interior. What you've got to remember is that pretty much everything inside this car is going to be stripped out. So I think all that you would have ever found inside the WRC car would have been the top of the dashboard. Everything below that is going to be different. You'll see no carpets, the seats will be gone, even this transmission tunnel will be gone. Obviously the rear seats won't be there. You'll see a roll cage, racing roll cage for WRC, as in a WRC spec roll cage, which is going to be sick. Racing steering wheel, all the tachometers and stuff. You've got a sequential shifter. I think what it actually had was an H pattern down here, and then it had flappy paddles on the back of the steering wheel, so that would be really, really cool to see. Obviously it will have harnesses, all of the good stuff that you expect. It's literally going to be a direct replica of the WRC car. In fact, I'll overlay some pictures of the interior of the 206 WRC, and you'll be able to see pretty much what this car is going to look like inside. Let's go have a look outside the car instead. So apologies, I haven't got much space. I'm inside my garage and it's dark outside because it's winter and I'm still feeling sick, so I'm struggling to kind of get out during the day. What you can see here is a Peugeot 206. So as you can see here, there's a crack in the windscreen sort of going through there. All the windscreen wipers seem to be completely missing. The area on the roof is all mashed up. You can see there's just moss everywhere around this car, sort of around there, in here as well, so underneath the wing mirrors. And yeah, the whole car has just been neglected for a really long time. Everything's a bit grimy. And let's have a look around the back. Does the boot open? Who knows? Oh, it does. Very nice. Yeah, just nothing of real interest. Just literally the absolute baseline of a car. In fact, I just clocked. Look at that under there. That's very grimy. In fact, the spider has found its way into living on the wing of the car. Very, very nice. I imagine this wing brings about 250% extra downforce to the car. You've also got some alloys all four corners of the car. I assume they look like original Peugeot ones, but who really cares at this point? I think what's most important for me to talk about around this car is how much is going to be gotten rid of from the car in order to make it into a WRC car. Obviously, the original WRC car did not have pretty much any of what you see in front of you here. So almost every body panel and every part of the interior and all of the wheels and the suspension and pretty much everything about this car is going to be completely replaced. If you look at the WRC 206, it doesn't even have exactly the same shape as this car. So pretty much all you're seeing before you in terms of the start of the project is the shell underneath all of this nonsense. I assume once the project starts, you'll pretty much see all of this just get stripped down and thrown to the floor, and then the real stuff can start to begin. I obviously don't know all of his plans for the car, but the body kit is obviously completely different. The engine is going to have to be different as well, so a whole new engine in the car too. And yeah, just pretty much everything about this is not going to be the same. Well, at least we know it starts up. And yes, as I said, even though it does start up, that means literally nothing because that whole engine block is going to be gotten rid of regardless. So, but yes, there's not really much more to say about this. Didn't want to do a really long video about this. Just wanted to give you a basic understanding of the fact that he's got this new project car, give a little bit of an overview of everything that's going to be going on. One of the good things about this project taking 2 years rather than being a really quick one is that you get to spread the cost. So obviously, as I said, quite a few things have to change. So suspension is going to cost an arm and a leg. The engine and sort of sorting it out and building it from scratch is going to cost an arm and a leg. Doing the interior of the car, so all the seats and everything, costs way more than you'd expect it to. The roll cage is like £1,700 something for a real WRC spec one, which is not that bad, but considering the car costs 320 quid, £325, it's quite a lot. Also, just clocked. I think that's actually fallen in slightly. Like, look at that. That's a bit mad. But yes, everything on the car has to change. The windows to come out. Everything costs money, and yeah, this project will cost money, but at least it comes over an extended period of time. That kind of takes away from the impact of that cost a tiny bit. I don't know about you, but I'm really excited to see what my dad can actually do with this car. It's going to be really, really cool to see the Renault 5 Maxi Turbo and the Peugeot 206 WRC sitting right next to each other, going up the hill at Chateau Impney, doing all that good stuff. It's just going to be so, so sick. That's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about. Apologies for not being loads of top fives at the moment. Obviously, I'm quite sick right now, so I'm trying to overcome my illness by making shorter videos like this one and the one that you would have seen whenever it came out last week. I hope you're excited for the project like I am. Obviously, the main project on the channel is going to be the MX-5 and the Pointless Polo project, but it'd be cool to see this and stop in on it and see how progress is going over time. As my nose is blocking up, massive thank you to the patrons for all of their support. Really appreciate it. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, where I'll also be documenting this process. But as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Listen.